welcome to the Psychology Undergrad.
It's great to be back.
We are back at it again. 2 students, pretty much drowning in coursework, caffeine in hand, just trying to survive this semester.
Yeah, and maybe more importantly, trying to make sense of the absolute mountain of research papers we have to read for this degree.
It truly is a mountain. Sometimes it feels like an avalanche.
It does.
Right.
But every once in a while you find a paper in that stack that it doesn't just help you pass a class or write a term paper. You find something that actually changes the way you look at the world.
Right.
Or in the case of today's discussion, it changed the way you look at your own childhood.
Exactly. I had that exact reaction. We are diving into a really fascinating piece of cross-cultural psychology today. The paper is titled Themes and Variations, Parental Ethnotheories in Western Cultures, written by Sarah Harkness and Charles M. Super. And honestly, this one blew my mind a little bit.
Oh, for sure.
It made me call my mom and ask her, why did you do it that way?
It's a seminal text. I mean, if you're studying developmental psychology, you have to know Harkness and Super. They're the ones who really gave us the language to talk about this thing called the developmental niche.
Yeah.
And it really challenges some of the most basic implicit assumptions we have about raising humans.
Okay, so before we get into the nitty-gritty of babies and sleep schedules, which, by the way, is way more controversial than I ever thought possible.
Oh, it's a war zone.
It is. Let's start with the hook. The big myth that we need to bust right out of the gate.
The monolithic West myth.
Right. So usually when we sit in our psych classes, Intro to Psych 101, we talk about these big, broad categories. We talk about the West versus the East.
Individualism versus collectivism, all those charts.
Exactly. We look at charts comparing the U.S. to Japan or, Germany to China.
And from a macro perspective, or really from an Asian perspective or any non-Western perspective, there's this assumption that the West is just one big homogeneous blob.
Yeah, that it's all the same flavor. The assumption is that a parent in a suburb of Seattle raises a kid exactly the same way with the same values and same schedule as a parent in Rome or Amsterdam or Paris.
Right. We think, oh, they're all wealthy, democratic Western nations. It's all the same.
Which, when you say it out loud, sounds ridiculous to anyone who has actually traveled to those places.
Of course. But in research, we often group them together as variables. Harkness and Super, though, they start this paper by just shattering that idea.
They really do.
They use this incredible observation from a researcher named Nash way back in 1970.
I absolutely loved this visual. It felt like the opening scene of a movie. So I want you to picture this. Nash is standing at a dock in Sydney, Australia.
Okay.
It's 1970. It's hot. The seagulls are screaming. The water is slapping against the pier. He's just people watching.
A classic setting for naturalistic observation. You learn a lot just by watching people arrive in a new country.
For sure. So first, he watches an English ship arrive. The Southern Cross, coming all the way from Southampton, it pulls into the harbor. The gangplank comes down. Now, how does he describe the scene?
Well, it's very English.
It is. He describes the passengers disembarking sedately. That's the word he uses, sedately.
Sedately.
There is no screaming. There is no running. You see polite handshakes. You can just imagine someone in a tweed jacket stiffly saying, "How nice to see you again, old chap."
Right. Keep a stiff upper lip.
It's orderly. It's quiet. It is high emotional regulation.
It's a culture that really values restraint,
Yeah.
Public displays of emotion are kept to a minimum.
Exactly. But then, cut to the next scene. A different ship arrives at the same dock.
Yeah.
The Galilei arriving from Milan and Genoa.
And the vibe is just a little different.
It is absolute chaos. Nash describes it as tumultuous confusion.
I love that phrase.
The gangplank hits the dock, and it's just a riot of humanity. There is weeping, there is laughing, there is shouting. Men are embracing and kissing each other on the cheeks.
Women are shrieking. Grandmothers are crying.
It is loud, it is messy,
Yeah.
and it is incredibly expressive.
And remember, these are both Western cultures. They are both European. They are both, theoretically individualistic in the broad sense.
Right.
But the emotional script, the way they express connection, the way they handle a reunion is just fundamentally different.
And that is the point Harkness and Super are making. They use this to say, look, if the way we say hello at a dock is this different, if the adult social script is this divergent, imagine how different the way we raise our children must be. You can't tell me those English parents and those Italian parents are going home and following the same parenting manual.
Not a chance. And that brings us to the core concept of this entire deep dive, the term that is Definitely going to be on the final exam.
Parental ethnotheories.
Parental
It's a
ethnotheories.
bit of a mouthful, isn't it? It sounds very academic.
It does, but it's actually quite intuitive. Let's break it down. An ethnotheory is essentially a cultural belief system. It's the theory shared by an ethnic or cultural group. So parental ethnotheories are the organized set of ideas that parents hold about children, families, and themselves as parents.
But here's the kicker, and this is what really stuck with me as I was reading. These aren't just opinions.
No.
It's not like preferring vanilla ice cream over chocolate or liking the color blue.
No, absolutely not. These beliefs are implicit. That is the key word.
Implicit.
Implicit means parents usually take them for granted. They don't wake up in the morning and say, I am going to apply the American ethnotheory of individualism today.
Right.
They just feel like it is the natural or the right way to do things.
It feels moral. That's the link to morality here.
Yes.
When a parent does something based on their ethnotheory, they don't think, I am making a cultural choice. They think, I am doing the right thing.
Exactly. And conversely, if you do it differently, you aren't just different. You might be seen as a bad parent.
You're violating the moral code of how to raise a human.
Precisely. It is the invisible script we're all reading from. We think we're improvising, but we're actually reading lines that were written hundreds of years ago by our culture.
Wow.
And to understand how this works, Harkness and Super introduce a framework called the developmental niche.
I feel like we need a whiteboard for this, but let's try to visualize it for you listening. Imagine the child is in the center of a circle.
Right. The child is the center. And surrounding the child is this niche, which is made up of 3 subsystems that all interact with each other.
Okay, so subsystem 1, the physical and social settings.
This is the concrete stuff. Where is the child physically? Are they in a daycare center surrounded by 30 other kids?
Or are they strapped to their mother's back while she works in a field?
Are they sleeping in a crib in their own room, or are they in a family bed with 3 siblings? It's the where and the who.
Got it. Okay. Subsystem 2, the customs of childcare.
These are the practices, what we do. Do we have a strict bedtime routine? Do we practice baby wearing? Do we let them cry it out, or do we pick them up immediately?
These are like the habitual actions of parenting.
Exactly. And finally, subsystem 3, the one that drives the car.
The psychology of the caretakers.
This is where the ethnotheories live. This is the why. Why do we put them in a crib? Because we believe in independence. Why do we feed them on a schedule? Because we believe in regularity. It is the belief system that dictates the customs and shapes the setting.
So our mission today, as the Psychology Undergrad hosts, is to decode these hidden scripts. We're going to strip away the natural feeling and look at the raw machinery of culture. And we're going to do that by looking specifically at the comparison between the United States and the Netherlands.
2 wealthy Western democratic nations. You might think they're very similar.
I did.
You might think a kid in Boston and a kid in Amsterdam are living the same life.
But oh man, you would be wrong. We are going to see how culture shapes human development from day one.
Shall we step into the lives of the children?
Let's do it. Section 1, a tale of 2 toddlers.
So to get this data, the researchers didn't just do interviews. I mean, people lie in interviews.
Or they say what they think they should say.
Totally. So instead, they used parental diaries. They asked mothers to write down everything that happened during their child's day, minute by minute.
Which is brilliant.
It is a fantastic way to bypass the filter and see what actually happens.
So we have 2 subjects for our case study. Let's call them our protagonists. In the American corner, we have Jane.
Okay, Jean.
She is a 3-year-old living in a suburb of Boston. Middle class, standard American setup.
And in the Dutch corner, we have Marger, also 3 years old, living in a town the researchers call Bloemenheim in the Netherlands.
Let's walk through Jane's day first. The American model. I want everyone listening to just visualize the pace of this day. Feel the rhythm.
Okay.
Jane's day starts at 7:30 a.m. She gets up and has breakfast. But notice the social setting immediately. She's eating with her mom and her little brother. Where's Dad?
Dad is already gone. He's off to work.
The American hustle culture starts early. The nuclear family is already fragmented before 8:01 a.m.
That's a great point. So after breakfast, what happens? Do they play? Do they relax?
No. They pile into the car. This is a huge theme in the American Diary. The car.
The car, right?
The car is like a second home. It's a container. They drive into town. They drop the brother off at a babysitter. It's logistics.
It's all about moving parts.
Very much so. Then Jane and her mom meet another mom and daughter, And where do they go?
To a performance of Pinocchio.
The performance of Pinocchio.
Pause there. This is
Yeah.
really important. This is what we call an enrichment activity.
Yes.
It is a special event. It is outside the home. It is designed to be stimulating. The mother isn't just being with Jane. She is providing an experience.
It feels like the mom is a cruise director.
Haha, yeah.
She is managing a schedule of entertainment. Okay, 9:00 a.m., puppet show. 10:00 a.m., snack.
Right. And if Jane is bored, the mother probably feels like she's failing.
Totally.
She isn't stimulating the child enough. So they see the show. Then what?
Lunch, but not a home-cooked meal. They go to McDonald's. It's fast, it's efficient, it's fuel.
Of course.
Then they separate from the friends, and Jane goes shopping with her mom, running errands. Then they pick up the brother. Then they go home.
But the day isn't over. Not even close.
Not even close. Jane plays alone in the backyard for a bit while mom does housework. Notice the separation there and then.
More structure. In the mid-afternoon, Mom takes Jane to a swimming lesson at the town pool.
Another scheduled event.
Mom and the brother watch from the sidelines.
High stimulation. Structured learning. Instruction. Then they go home. Jane watches Sesame Street more. Educational stimulation. And here's the part that made me sad, honestly. Dinner.
Describe the dinner setting.
Jane eats her supper in her parents' bedroom while her mom folds laundry.
Wow. So disjointed meals, no family gathering around a table.
None.
It is functional. You need to eat, I need to work.
And finally, Dad gets home at 7:30 p.m. He reads a story, and Jane is in bed by 8:14 p.m.
So let's analyze the American script here. It is characterized by high stimulation.
For sure.
Frequent changes of setting home, car, theater, restaurant, pool, car, home, a lot of time spent in transit. And the activities are often special events created for the child.
It's frantic. It's exciting, I'm sure, but it's fragmented. The child is being shuttled from one value-add experience to another.
Value-add experience is a perfect way to put it. Very apt. Now, let's travel to the Netherlands. Let's look at Marge's day in Bloemenheim.
Okay, Marja. 7:04 a.m. She starts her day with a shower with her dad.
Already a difference. The father's present in the morning.
A huge difference. Then breakfast. And this
Yeah.
is key. She eats with the entire family. Mom, dad, older sister, older brother, everyone is there.
The social setting is the family unit. The pack is together.
Right. Then the older sister goes to school. It's a 5-minute bike ride, no car. Marja stays home. Now, Jane went to a puppet show. What does Marja do?
She plays with pennies in her piggy bank.
She counts change. That's her enrichment.
And she is perfectly happy. She isn't bored. She is just being
She goes outside. Does she go to a special fenced-in park?
No, she rides her bike in the street, the child-safe neighborhood streets. She isn't being driven to a play date. She is just outside, in her environment, unsupervised, but safe.
It's a totally different concept of space and freedom.
Completely.
The mom picks up the sister. They have lunch. Again, a family lunch at home plus a neighbor child.
The Netherlands often has a schedule where school children come home for lunch. It reinforces that home-centric life. The school doesn't own the child's day. The family does.
That's a really good point. In the afternoon, Marja goes to a nursery school, but only for a couple hours. Then she's back home, riding her bike with neighbors by 4:00 p.m.
And the evening.
Dad arrives home by bike, naturally at 5:30 p.m. The kids play while parents cook. At 6 p.m., the family sits down to eat together.
And bedtime. This is the statistic that usually makes American parents gasp.
This is the shocker. Dad gets Marja ready. She is tucked in and asleep by 6:50 p.m.
6:50. Compare that to Jane's 8:05 p.m.
It's not even close.
That is a massive difference in the biological rhythm of the child.
So, looking at these 2 days, the vibes are completely different. Marge's day is incredibly consistent. It's home, neighborhood, home. It's boring in a way, but very stable.
And Jane's day is frantic, exciting, but fragmented.
And this brings us back to the ethno-theories, the morality of time. Jane's mother is operating on a script that says good parenting provides experiences and enrichment.
Right.
If Jane is bored, the mother feels she is failing morally. She isn't giving her child the advantage.
Whereas Marge's mother operates on a script that says good parenting provides routine, rest, and family unity.
Yeah.
If Marge was dragged around to puppet shows and swimming lessons, the Dutch mother would probably feel like she's abusing the child. She would feel she is overstressing her.
Exactly. To the Dutch parent, the American schedule looks like madness.
And to the American parent, the Dutch schedule looks like neglect. You just let her play with pennies, you aren't teaching her anything.
But she is learning. She's learning to be independent and calm. It really shows how the settings reflect the beliefs. Marja is in familiar settings. Jane is in special settings. And this leads us directly into our next section, which is all about how these parents think about the connection they have with their kids.
Section 2, the theology of time.
I call it theology because, again, people get really religious about this. We're talking about the American concept of special time versus the Dutch concept of family time.
Let's start with the American construct. The researchers interviewed an American couple, parents of a 3-year-old, and they were obsessed with this idea of special time.
You might know it by the pop psychology term quality time.
Oh, yeah. Quality time. It's the holy grail of American parenting.
It is. If you work 60 hours a week, you tell yourself, it's okay because when I'm home, we have quality time.
Exactly. But how did the American mother define it? It was very specific.
She said special time is about connecting one-on-one. It's about stopping the chaos to focus solely on the child. But here is the fascinating part.
The cookie metaphor.
The cookie metaphor. This is crucial for understanding the American mindset.
Yeah.
She said that if she is baking cookies with her child, that does not count as special time.
Wait, pause. Most people would think baking together is lovely. It's bonding. Why doesn't it count?
Because there is a product. There are cookies at the end. She viewed that as a task.
Whoa.
She said special time must have no product. It has to be just being with them at their level. If you're accomplishing something, even if you were doing it together, you aren't fully focused on the child's soul.
Think about the psychological pressure that creates. You cannot just live your life with your child. You cannot just do chores together. You have to carve out a separate sacred space where you do nothing but gaze into their eyes and play with blocks.
It sounds exhausting.
Yeah.
The dad had an interesting take on this, too. He compared it to his own childhood.
Okay.
He said he got to know his parents through accretion, just slowly over years, hanging out, doing stuff. But he didn't want that for his kid. He wanted a fast-track connection.
He wants intensity. It validates the child's importance. It is a very individualistic pursuit. I see you. You are unique, and I am devoting this time solely to your unique self.
It's almost like a therapy session.
It really is. Now, contrast that with the Dutch. When the researchers asked the Dutch parents about special time, they were like,
They were just sort of ambivalent. They didn't really get it.
Sure, it's nice to be with one kid, but it wasn't a moral imperative. What they were passionate about was family time.
Yes.
Or, as they might say, gezelligheid.
Gezelligheid, that famous untranslatable Dutch word. It means coziness, belonging, time spent together pleasantly.
The researchers interviewed the parents of a baby named Sietske. Now, Sietske was a baby, and babies, as we know, can be fussy. She had a screaming hour right around dinner time.
Ah, the witching hour.
The witching hour. Colic, maybe, who knows. In America, if a baby is screaming, what do? You pick them up, you walk them, maybe one parent eats while the other paces the floor.
You prioritize the baby's comfort, or at least the peace and quiet so digestion can happen.
But the Dutch parents insisted that Sietske sit at the table with them, even if she was screaming.
Why? That sounds miserable for everyone. Why force a screaming baby to sit at a table?
Because the philosophy is that dinner is a rest point. It is functional, yes, you are eating, but it is essential for hearing about each other. It is the assembly of the tribe.
The dad actually said he feared that if he missed dinner, or if the baby wasn't there, the child wouldn't recognize him or be involved with him.
Wow.
He viewed the family circle as the primary unit of connection, not the one-on-one time.
It creates a sense of solidarity. You are part of this group. You sit with the group.
Even if you're screaming.
Even if you are screaming, you are part of the group. We don't exile you to a bedroom to scream. You scream with us.
That is so different. And the data backs this up. The Dutch parents talk 3 times as often about family time in the interviews.
And the U.S. parent
Talk 3 times as often about special time.
It is a perfect mirror image, and it shows the moral weight. For Americans, good parenting is intensive individual attention. I know my child deep down.
For the Dutch, good parenting is maintaining the family circle and the routine. My child knows they belong to this family.
And speaking of routine, we have to talk about the battleground where these ethno-theories really clash. The place where the rubber meets the road.
The bedroom.
Section 3, the sleep wars.
This is where the cultural differences become physiological differences. We aren't just talking about feelings anymore. We are talking about hours of REM sleep.
It's real, measurable data.
So the Dutch have this pop idea, almost a mantra that every parent knows. If you go to the Netherlands and ask a parent about raising kids, they will say these 3 words.
The 3 R's, rust, regelmaat, reinheid.
rest, regularity, and cleanliness.
Cleanliness is pretty standard, give the kid a bath, wash their hands. But rest and regularity, that is the Dutch parenting Bible. It is the dogma.
So what does that mean in practice? What is regularity?
It means they believe children need structure to grow. It is not a preference. It is biological. It is non-negotiable.
Like a plant needs water and sun.
Exactly. A child needs rest and regularity.
So if a Dutch parent puts a kid to bed at 7:00 p.m. and the kid isn't tired,
That doesn't matter. The schedule says it is sleep time. The parent believes to bed on time. If she gets too little rest, she is very fussy. They view the schedule as a protective measure for the child's health.
and because they believe it so strongly, because it is an implicit truth to them, they enforce it strictly. There is no wavering.
None. And here's the data point that knocked me over when I read it.
I think I know which one you mean.
Dutch babies slept 2 hours more per day than U.S. babies at 6 months old.
2 hours. That is a lifetime for a new parent.
It's everything.
That is the difference between sanity and a mental breakdown.
And the researchers observed the state of the babies. The Dutch babies were observed to be in a state of quiet alert.
Quiet alert.
They were calm, they were rested, they looked around comfortably.
And the parents rarely reported sleep problems. If a child wakes up, the Dutch parent thinks, oh, that is a violation of the regularity rule. They must be tired.
So the solution is obvious.
Enforce the schedule. Put them back down. Keep it boring.
Now let's look at the American ethnotheory. It is diametrically opposed.
The American belief is based on innate characteristics.
Americans believe sleep patterns are determined by the child's temperament. We look at the baby and say, he's just an active baby.
She's a night owl. He has FOMO.
Right. We treat the baby like a tiny, immutable individual with their own personality that we have to work around.
We think, who am I to impose a schedule on this unique spirit?
And this leads to what the researchers call negotiation and struggle.
Oh, the struggle is real. There was this story in the paper about a U.S. couple with a 1-year-old who woke up 4 times a night. 4 times every night.
It sounds exhausting, just pure torture.
And they were in this total dilemma. The doctor told them to let him cry, the cry-it-out method.
No.
But parents said it drove them crazy. They felt like bad parents if they ignored him.
This is the conflict. American parents are torn between 2 competing cultural models. Model A is independence.
Right.
The child should sleep alone, pull themselves up by their bootstraps, self-soothe, be an individual.
But Model B is responsiveness and love. A good parent responds to their child's needs. If the child cries, they need me. If I don't go, I am abandoning them.
So they are paralyzed. They want the independence, but they feel guilty about the method to get there. They go in, they rub the back, they sing, they negotiate.
And the result? Guilt, confusion, and active alert babies.
Active alert, yeah.
The American mothers were observed constantly stimulating the babies, talking to them, touching them, trying to entertain them because they thought the baby was bored or active, when maybe the baby was just awake.
The story about that couple with the waking baby, they found a weird solution, right? This is where the religious aspect comes in really strongly.
Yes. This part was wild. They couldn't just let him cry. So they found a specific song in the Bible.
A psalm.
They found that when they played this song on a tape or read it, the baby calmed down.
They literally interpreted it as divine intervention.
Which makes sense if you follow their logic.
Right.
If you believe the baby's sleeplessness is an innate, unchangeable trait, that it's just who he is.
Right. It's part of his core being.
Then nothing you do as a human can fix it. You can't train him out of his personality. Only God can fix it.
That is such a profound insight, whereas a Dutch parent would say, God has nothing to do with it. It is 7:00 p.m. Go to sleep.
Exactly. The Dutch parent trusts the system. The American parent trusts the individual, and when the individual fails, they turn to the divine.
So let's look at the cycle. The Dutch model is belief, child needs rest, leads to practice, strict bedtime, which leads to outcome, calm baby.
And the American model?
The American model is belief, child has innate schedule, leads to practice, negotiation, entertainment, which leads to outcome, aroused baby.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. We create the babies we believe in.
It is the definition of the developmental niche. The belief shapes the environment, which shapes the development.
So, we have talked about time. We've talked about sleep. Now let's talk about personality. How do we describe these little humans?
Section 4, the adjective game.
This is one of my favorite parts of the paper. The researchers simply asked parents, describe your child.
It seems like such a neutral question. Tell me about your kid. but the answers reveal the implicit cultural models of the ideal child.
What are you looking for? What do you value?
Exactly. First, we should say there is a universal base. Across all Western cultures, parents generally used words like sociable, loving, active, and strong-willed.
Okay, so there's some common ground.
Yes, we all want kids who can move and who love us. That's basic human biology. But then the divergence happens.
Let's look at the American ideal child. What are the adjectives that popped up most frequently?
The key words were intelligent, cognitively advanced, asks questions, independent, and rebellious.
Rebellious is considered a descriptor, a positive one.
In America, yes. It's seen as a sign of independence. Oh, he's a rebel. It's almost a compliment.
Yeah.
But focus on the intelligent part. Americans are obsessed with cognitive precocity.
There is this great anecdote about a Boston mom. She describes her newborn, brand new baby, basically a potato, as alert and intelligent right out of the womb.
Which is generous.
It's very generous.
Ah.
And she takes the baby to a mall at 6 weeks old.
Mhm.
And she claims a stranger stalked her and said, "Lady, you have an intelligent baby there."
Now, let's be real as psychology students. It is very hard to assess the IQ of a 6-week-old by looking at them in a stroller.
Not at all possible.
The baby was probably just staring at a fluorescent light.
Right. But the mother perceives intelligence. Why? Because that is what she is looking for. She wants her child to be smart, faster, ahead of the curve. She projects that value onto the baby.
The cognitive child.
The cognitive child.
Yeah.
Now compare that to the Dutch ideal child.
The key adjectives here were agreeable, enjoys life, long attention span, and, wait for it,
Regular.
regular. There it is again. The 3 R's. Even in personality, they value regularity.
A good Dutch child is one who fits into the schedule. And long attention span is crucial. Remember Marja playing with the pennies?
Yes, yes. If you are going to be home a lot and the family is doing their thing and you need to play independently, you need a long attention span.
You have to.
You need to be able to entertain yourself without constantly demanding adult engagement.
If an American kid sat counting pennies for an hour, the parent would worry. Is he depressed? Should we put him in coding camp?
Oh, for sure. The Dutch parent says, look at that focus. What a good child.
So the Dutch want a pleasant child. The Americans want a smart child.
Exactly. And just to give a quick tour of the rest of the West, because the paper touches on them and it's super interesting.
The Italian.
The Italians describe their kids as simpatico, even-tempered, and well-balanced.
It's all about social and emotional competence. Being a good person to be around. If you are simpatico, you fit into the group emotionally.
Which makes sense, given the scene at the dock.
It tracks perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
The Spanish were interesting. They used good character and socially mature. But they were the only ones who frequently used the word difficult.
Manageability is a concern there. They acknowledge the struggle.
In the Swedes.
Happy and secure. The ideal of the pleasant, undemanding child.
There was a really interesting nuance about the word strong-willed.
Oh, yes.
It showed up everywhere, but it meant different things depending on where you were standing.
It did. Americans see strong-willed and think rebellious. It's a battle for independence. He stands up for himself.
Italians see it as knowing what they want, which is a social skill, right? It helps you navigate the group.
And the Dutch.
The Dutch see strong-willed as necessary for self-determination. Remember, the Netherlands is a crowded country. It is a dense society. You need a strong will to maintain your boundaries and yourself in a group. It isn't about fighting the parents. It's about holding your own space in a world that is always pressing in on you.
It's fascinating how the same word, strong-willed, can be filtered through a cultural lens and come out with a totally different flavor.
It's everything.
That is the power of the ethnotheory. It colors everything we see. We don't see the child. We see the child through our cultural glasses.
So we have broken down the days, the time, the sleep, and the personalities. We have seen Jane the project and Marja the family member. I think it is time to wrap this up and figure out what it all means for us.
Let's move to the outro.
So to summarize this deep dive into the Psychology Undergrad material, the developmental niche framework shows us that you cannot separate the environment from the beliefs.
No, they're intertwined.
You can't just copy the Dutch schedule without the Dutch belief system. It wouldn't work.
Right. Jane's fragmented high-speed day isn't an accident. It is a direct result of the American belief in stimulation and individual achievement.
And Marja's calm, regular day isn't an accident. It is a direct result of the Dutch belief in rest and family solidarity.
And the big takeaway, and this is important so we don't just sound like we are bashing Americans or idealizing the Dutch, is that neither way is correct.
Right. There's no better way.
Correct. Parents in every culture want successful, happy kids, but they define success differently. Is success getting into Harvard and being a CEO? Then maybe the American model works.
But is success being a rested, agreeable member of a community? Then the Dutch model wins.
Harkness and Super end with this perfect analogy. The pop idea takeaway for today.
The billboard analogy.
So the researchers are at JFK Airport coming back from a trip, and they see a billboard. It shows 3 different balls.
Okay.
One is an American football, the prolate spheroid, pointed ends. One is a soccer ball round, black and white, and one is an Australian rules football, which is slightly different, more oval.
And under each ball, the label just says, football.
And the caption on the billboard read, "Never underestimate the importance of local knowledge."
I love that. It's so simple. If you go to a stadium in Texas and bring a soccer ball and everyone else is padded up for American football, you are playing the wrong game.
You are going to lose. You are going to get hurt.
And in psychology, you cannot understand a child's development without understanding the local game they're being trained to play. Jane is being trained for the American game. Competition, individualism, speed, cognitive prowess. Marja is being trained for the Dutch game. Consensus, regularity, stability, social harmony.
They're both becoming competent adults for their specific worlds. If you put Marja in New York City, she might struggle. If you put Jane in Blumenheim, she might be the most annoying person in town.
She might be, yeah.
Precisely. Context is everything.
So here's our final provocative thought for you, the listener. We want you to look in the mirror.
Ask yourself, what invisible script are you following?
If you described your ideal self, or your ideal child, or even your ideal employee, which culture would you sound like? Are you valuing alertness, hustle, and rebellion?
Or are you valuing regularity, rest, and agreeableness?
And more importantly, are you stressing over a problem that is only a problem because of your cultural map?
Yeah.
Are you fighting a sleep war that doesn't need to be fought because you believe biology is negotiable? Are you baking cookies and feeling guilty that it isn't quality enough because there is a product?
The map is not the territory.
And sometimes it helps to borrow someone else's map for a while.
Maybe try the Dutch map this week. Get some rest. Trust the schedule.
And eat dinner together, even if someone is screaming.
Especially then. That's when the family needs to be a family most.
Thanks for joining the Psychology Undergrad. We will see you in the next one.